Welcome to the CEO Insider Podcast, powered by YTexas. My name is Sandy McIlree. In this episode, we will talk to the Executive Director at Pflugerville Community Development Corporation, Amy Madison. Amy has 20 years experience at growing communities. She has 16 years of experience developing all-win tax incentive deals and working with public officials to get them adopted. In this episode, she'll tell us how Pflugerville, Texas has become the third fastest growing city in America, how Pflugerville has become a hotbed for 3D printing, what Pflugerville's Business First program is all about, and if you need someone to sing the national anthem, why Amy is the person to call. Enjoy this episode of the CEO Insider Podcast, powered by YTexas, with the Executive Director at Pflugerville Community Development Corporation, Amy Madison. Amy, we're glad that you joined us. Pflugerville has got a lot going on, the third fastest growing city in America. How did Pflugerville get there?
Oh, wow. That's a story to be told. Years ago, there wasn't a whole lot happening in Pflugerville because we really didn't have a road running through it of any significance. And in around 2005, 2006, all of a sudden, we kind of spread our wings when Highway SH-45 and SH-130 came through. That expansion just spawned a tremendous amount of growth in our community because obviously it was a great workaround for Austin, and it provided opportunities for us to bring commercial, industrial, and retail growth to our community. And so within 10 years, we just all of a sudden had a lot of elevation going up throughout the community. The PCDC jumped in and did a lot of recruitment to bring a lot of manufacturing companies, and a lot of that kind of growth had really not occurred because it had been limited because of the access to highway.
Right, so access to Pflugerville is definitely an advantage for the city. How else do you market and sell Pflugerville? I did get a kick out of your website when you touted 26 sunny days in Pflugerville.
Well, it's kind of important for us to have sunny days because we've got Typhoon, Texas. It's that water park that the PCDC also operates and owns. And we have a new operator as of a couple years ago, and that's been great for us. It's brought a lot of destination traffic to our community that utilizes a lot of the area restaurants and also retail. So that's been great. But in terms of marketing the community, we talk a lot about our ability to respond quickly. We have the nimbleness, I think, that a suburban city offers over our big sister, Austin. And we don't have a lot of the traffic issues here at this point either. And so it makes it a really user-friendly environment, not only for business, but also for residential. A lot of people really appreciate the school system that we have here, the Pflugerville ISD, and it's an outstanding district, and that really does bring a lot of people here, lower taxes in our area as well. So we have a lot to talk about and market. So we're very blessed in that regard.
Absolutely. And of course, affordable housing has a lot to play to that as well. And for those of our listeners that are new to Texas or listening outside of Texas, it's Pflugerville is spelled with a P. It is, if you want to do it phonetically, Pflugerville. And Pflugerville is very proud of that P. Can you give everyone a little bit of the history of Pflugerville? It goes back to the German immigrants that settled this part of Texas, correct?
Right. We were actually settled in 1849 by some German settlers that came in, and following that, the farming community continued to grow. The word Pflugerville is based on the word Pfluger, which was a family that actually landed here and started our first developments in the area, and that word actually means plow. Mm-hmm. And at that time, they were very, very agribusiness oriented. All of it was really farming that happened throughout the community. But these days, we're still moving dirt, and we're having fun doing it. But I will tell you that dirt we're moving is to create opportunities for all this growth that we're talking about.
You guys are doing a fabulous job. So that begs the question, the residents of Pflugerville, what are they known as? Are they Pflugers, Pflugervillians, Pflugerites? What are they?
We are known as being awesome. How's that work?
That's good.
But, Pflugervillians works, I think. It depends on who you're talking to, but we certainly do have some great residents here, a lot of tradition. We host our annual Deutschenfest festival, which just brings thousands of people here every year as part of that celebration in May. And we have other street festivals that are just really unique to the community. But beyond that, we just have a real strong sense of community here. It's a full cycle of life from beginning to end, and it has offerings for all of the populations that we have here, and very diverse. It's real interesting the way that Pflugerville has actually grown to be one of the most diverse cities in the entire region.
Yeah, it is, because traditionally Pflugerville was really more of a bedroom community. With now there's just a more of a focus on jobs, employment, relocation of businesses.
Exactly. Pflugerville got its really first huge spark when Dell came into Round Rock, and we were the suburban community providing all the high technology workers, and still do for that matter. And we also supply a lot of the, manufacturers, high-tech manufacturers in the area. But, since that time, and since, of course, adding the road, we have been able to expand our community significantly. Our real goal here is to provide buildings, facilities, shovel-ready property so that we can experience the kind of growth and opportunities that other communities have much sooner because they had access to I-35. So with that is a turnaround of that commuter pattern. While we have some top-notch workforce here in our community, we're helping to supply Austin and Round Rock with workforce. We're hoping by bringing some of the companies that we've landed most recently that we're going to be able to turn that commute pattern around, and they can stay home, play, work, play, and do it all in one community.
I would like to take a quick break from all the business end of this, and let's get to know Amy Madison a little bit with a rapid-fire Q&A session. It's all easy questions. Nothing's going to stump you here. But Amy, what's your favorite movie?
Sound of Music. I love that show. I actually, when I was younger, much younger, I would have to say, I was in a college performance of that movie, and have been in love with it ever since. Just the music, the magic of it. So that would be it.
What about a book that you've read recently that you really enjoyed?
I love reading. I read, or at least listen to books every day, but, something that's a heartthrob of mine, you may laugh, but it's Call of the Wild. That Jack London thing is just amazing, and it really stimulated my mind when I was younger, and it's really a great story.
Do you enjoy, I've not gotten into listening to books yet, but it sounds like
yeah.
You have a bit of a commute every day, so that's probably great for you, huh?
Exactly. I listen to a book probably every 3-4 days. So I am well listened, if you will, as opposed to well read. But I do a lot of reading, and a lot of it's personal development and or business oriented. And for fun, I do like to listen to mysteries and thrillers. But yeah, that's kind of how I keep myself active and updated on what's going on in the world.
Now the important question.
Okay.
Pie, cake, or cobbler?
Oh, no question here. This is an easy answer. Pie. And if I didn't say that loud enough, pie. I love fruit pie. I love cherry. But I like tartar pie. So I like strawberry rhubarb. So those are, yeah, that is my weakness. I can stay away from sweets, but when it comes to pie, I'm lost.
You know what? I always say that I don't care how much you have eaten, you can always have dessert because it goes in a different compartment.
This is so true.
It's a different compartment. Final question, football, basketball, or baseball?
I'm going with basketball every time on that. I'm a big Spurs fan, have been for many, many years, and just love to watch that team continue to develop and, it's just such a tradition there, too. The kind of character they have and the leadership that's there is just unprecedented across the nation. So I'm very proud of my Spurs.
Yeah, it's a great team, but it's also good to look at as an organization on how to run a business. They do an amazing job.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And they build character. You don't find our players run around doing things that maybe we would not like for them to do. They really do take their role seriously in the community.
Yeah, you never do hear about the Spurs. The Spurs never disappoint you. They never let you down.
True.
They never let you down. All right, now back to business. Let's talk about 3D printing in Pflugerville. It's a big deal.
Yes, it is. You know, we started out in 2013 with our first company, Directed Manufacturing, which was eventually acquired through Arconic and a subsidiary at this point in time. And they had a very early start here in the community, and then by 2014 we had relocated and expanded EOS of North America. They had bought a couple companies in the United States, a couple actually in Texas, and we're looking for a North American headquarters, and we were able to lure them here. Since then, they've expanded even further. EOS is a manufacturer of 3D printers, and it's a specific process that they do, and it's usually for Fortune 500 and R&D purpose. And they just this year announced an expansion. We've been working with them, and they are looking at not only doing assembly here, but also expanding operations for the first time in the United States to actually manufacture the printers here in the U.S. Really great company, originated in Germany. And then finally, Essentium, which is our third piece to this cluster that we have going in our community. Essentium came out of A&M. They were grads. They were engineers and developed a new type of 3D printer that operates off of a different concept and is also very, very productive. And we were able to capture them and bring them here. And so we have a lot to offer. Directed Manufacturing now has two different places they can buy printing machines for all of the contracts they're getting, and we continue to pursue more additive manufacturers, primarily because it has such a great portfolio. You think about all the industries they serve: automotive, aerospace, biomedical, even sports and prosthetics. There's just so much opportunity. You have one downturn in one industry, and you've got the rest to support you. So we feel like this is a great niche for Pflugerville, and we're real excited to have that kind of concentration in our community.
Amy, clearly you're not a Longhorn, because a Longhorn wouldn't mention Texas A&M and wouldn't say,
No,
well, are you an Aggie?
I'm the reason that the Longhorns even have a fight song. Now you think about that. That makes me a Sooner, a Boomer Sooner. And so if it weren't for us, they wouldn't have a fight song.
Well, we're not going to hold that against you, and we're not going to hold that against Pflugerville. Okay? You know what I always say? All the people that are moving to Austin, there's so many people that are moving to Austin, the surrounding areas, Pflugerville included. It's like, y'all, come on, welcome to Texas. Just don't put any beans in our chili. That's all I ask. Just don't mess that up.
I agree with you there. I'm absolutely on point with that.
Get with the program.
Exactly.
You've been in the business of economic development for quite a while. You've worked with other cities and the governor's office. What advice would you give companies looking to relocate to Texas?
Well, I think one of the great things we have to offer in the state of Texas is collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the governor gets involved in it, the incentives process is actually as much at the local level as anything. So when they're interested in relocating, reaching out to the governor's office, it's always a win. It provides you the opportunity to have your proposal sent out to a variety of communities all across the state. You can actually determine regional locations, specific locations that you're looking for, and then they will send it out to the designated drivers in each community that will respond. We're fortunate in the Austin region. We have Opportunity Austin, which is part of the Austin Chamber, which provides a regional marketing effort for all of the communities in a 5-county area. With that, we respond to collectively to the Austin Chamber, and they package all of our responses so it's easier for whomever is trying to find the right spot and understand more about the communities and what they can do in terms of assistance. And so with that, it provides a great service to the communities, too, because we can quickly get in front of them. I know it can be overwhelming sometimes when you're looking for a location to have that many responses, because Texas is very individual about the way we approach things, and the incentives are different every community. And so having that package so you can see a comparative is really great. So I have hats off to the regional players here in the Austin area, Austin Chamber, as well as Governor's Office, because we do a really, really good job, I think, of trying to meet their needs in a timely manner with the best options available in the state.
Can you tell us about the Business First program?
Sure, I'd love to. That's spelled with a PF, by the way.
Of course.
Business First. So when, most communities will have some sort of a survey and a visitation program that they do, but ours is kind of on steroids. We actually work with the companies when we recruit them, but we start that relationship and it continues down the road as long as they're here in our community. So we continue to visit them, find out what any roadblocks are. If they need assistance, whether it's workforce or other kinds of issues, political or otherwise, we jump in all over that and provide solutions and assistance with them and help them grow. If there's something we can do to help remove an obstacle, that is our focus on a regular basis. That said, we also provide information to them about what's happening in the community, and we host a breakfast every quarter that brings together all the CEOs, the HR folks, and then other players in the community that can potentially provide assistance to them. And we have about 100 that come to that early morning breakfast, and it has been extremely successful, and it helps people network and get to know one another. We do that also with our chamber on a monthly basis. They have a luncheon, so we work really hard at making sure our businesses become part of the community as soon as they arrive.
Amy, you are fabulous.
Well, I really appreciate that, Sandy. I think that it's got to be a tough world out there sometimes for a podcaster, and you do a great job at getting us to talk about what's important in our community. So I thank you for being such a professional and doing such a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Are you still singing opera, by the way?
Yes, I am. Occasionally, I do. You circled back on that one. I do sing. I've done a lot of performances, but not opera. I do a lot of the national anthem. It's one of my favorite songs. You didn't ask me what my favorite song was, and I would have told you that. But yes, the national anthem. I just love the song. It is challenging for some folks, and I love to do it right. And right is the way it was written. And so I really, really love that song. And when I get an opportunity to do that, I always step up and do it for whomever asks.
And not only the stage that you're on anytime you're singing our national anthem, it's a very difficult song to sing because it goes from so low. The range in that song it makes it difficult, right?
That is true. That is true. I remember we were traveling one time with the governor's office, and the Secretary of State was hosting it. And Hope Andretti, who was had a long-term run as Secretary of State, and she found out that I sang, and she put me on the spot and said, "You will sing. The Secretary of State's asking you to sing," and it was in honor of someone who was celebrating a birthday. And I said, I don't even know what you'd want me to sing, but I'm going to do the national anthem because today is September 11, and I just think it's appropriate, so that's what I did.
Right on. Amy, thank you very much for your time.
Well, listen, thank you, Sandy, and have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.